thought it was like, I gotta be one more.
We'll only go 2 weeks, not quite 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's
Oh yeah, well my son, I'm a travel baseball dad, so I spend just about every weekend. He ended up being baptized in Air Force. Yes, so we had to put it off a little bit right between the toes.
Squeeze in here behind you.
How are you? Hey, now I'm amazing.
Are you glad to be back?
Thanks for having us today.
Yeah. We give away everything, so we didn't have much to pack up.
Brenda's back. They got home about 4 o'clock this morning. She's skipping the meeting. We'll be there. I would if I could. We've got training at 11 tomorrow. Right now we're renting on Sequoia Drive. We're behind Wilton. We lived in Pretty Crossing and we sold our house out there. We're kind of looking toward retirement and we didn't want to mow 4.5 acres anymore and take care of that big old house. We sold while the selling was good.
Really nice to see you. Hi, Amelia. Nice to meet you. Emily. Hey, Alicia. Hey, good to see you. Hey, Adam. Good to see you. Josh, I love that shirt. Hey, Jeff. Good to see you. Phoebe. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Kitsy. Hi, Papa. Nice to see you. I mean, everybody. Hey, here. Nice to see you. Hi, Kelsey. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Michael. Nice to see you. Did we get a good one? Okay. Good. Ready when you are. I think I'll call state representatives up. Good. We got it. Oh,
Hello, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Grayson County Technology Center and say thank you for supporting our community. At this time, I'd like to introduce the Governor, Beshear.
Well, thank you all for having me. I am thrilled today to be here with Superintendent Doug Robinson. Thank you for all your hard work. We're going to hear from your state representative and your state senator who are here. Just about everything we're talking about today is a program where we work together. You don't always hear about that in Frankfort. A lot of times it's when people disagree, make all the headlines. But investing in our schools, in our infrastructure, in tourism, as well as in our nonprofits is something that we ought to all be able to come together on. You know, things like clean drinking water, roads and bridges, they're not red or blue, R or D, they're a road or a bridge. And they're really important for our families. And I also want to make sure we recognize Grayson County Judge Executive Kevin Henderson and your Mayor, Harold Dillard. And so many of our programs would not be possible without our incredible area development districts. I feel like we are working better with them in Frankfort than ever before, so let's give a round of applause to the Lincoln Trail Area Development District. And today, in your county, this is going to be a good day. It's going to be a good day because we're going to be celebrating more than $10.4 million in awards coming right here to this county. And I think we all deserve a good day after these last couple of years, don't you think? You know, we have been through so much as a people. More in a small period of time than I think any of us imagined could ever happen. A pandemic, worst tornadoes we've ever seen. Nearly wiped out my dad's hometown of Dawson Springs. Worst flooding we've ever seen. It's going to be the most difficult rebuild, I think, in the history of the United States. Most of us forget we had 2 ice storms in the midst of that. We're dealing with inflation that, while temporary, is still tough on our families, especially at the grocery store. And we even have a war going on in Europe. Something I thought I'd only read about, but I did find out last week through Twitter that apparently I've been banned by Russia. Who knew? They're digging real deep. But throughout all of it, we've made it. We've made it by relying on our faith and by relying on each other. I tell everybody that if you ever lose your hope and your faith and your belief in humanity, just watch about how good people are to one another, especially in the most difficult times. After those tornadoes, I got to watch people drive up into the driveways of people they've never met, get out of the car, introduce themselves, and say, "How can I help?" We saw neighbors in eastern Kentucky wading through the water where it was still so dangerous to make sure that their neighbor got out and got out safely. We are special people here in Kentucky. And right now, the role we're on, I think, is because we're special people here in Kentucky. And I think we're starting to finally turn the page. Doesn't it feel like it? From a time of great darkness and difficulty to a time of light and possibility, and we hope prosperity for every part of Kentucky. It's like the psalm that says, "Weeping may linger in the evening, but joy will come in the morning." I think we've been through that very difficult evening, and I think we're all ready for that bright, shiny, non-rainy morning. And we built that foundation. You know, you're seeing it not far from here, and you're seeing it here too in that Ford plant. My goodness. Even in the midst of the most difficult several years we've ever been through, we've broken every economic development record in the books, and it's not even close. We went into 2021 in the height of the pandemic, averaging about $5 billion of new private sector investment a year in Kentucky. We thought that was great. In 2021, we saw $11.2 billion invested in you, invested in us, invested in Kentucky. We went into that year averaging about 10,000 new jobs. We announced 18,000 new jobs that year. 2022 was our second best year ever, $10.5 billion invested, about 16,000 new jobs. We just had our second best January in Kentucky's history. And look at what's happened along the way. We've become the electric vehicle battery production capital of the United States of America. The biggest investment in the history of Ford is in Kentucky. Most people don't know the biggest investment in the history of Amazon is also in Kentucky. It's that northern Kentucky, Cincinnati Airport. It's on our side of the river. but you know, I can't remember before us getting picked and us winning over and over with some of the largest, most sophisticated companies in the world wanting to be in Kentucky. And right now, our surrounding states are looking at us with envy. And they're saying, "How are you doing this?" And I'm looking back saying, "I'm not telling you." But the secret is who we are. And how when we give our word, it's our bond. When we show up to work, we work hard. We are good people with good communities, and when people bet on us, we make sure they are successful. So I got to tell you, I'm excited. I'm excited for the future and the potential of every single student here and in all of our public schools. I'm excited because as a dad of a 12 and a 13-year-old, we are as close as we've ever been to stopping that brain drain and turning it into a brain gain. To stop our kids moving from Kentucky and getting other people's talented young people moving to Kentucky. And ensuring that no matter how big our kids dream, that they can chase that dream in Kentucky and in the region they're from. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but for the first time in a long time, these jobs are coming everywhere. I got to announce new jobs in Bell County and in Fulton County on the same day. Pretty tough to go further east or further west. And I know right here, you all have seen at least 55 new jobs just in the last couple years between North Star and Extreme Fabrication. I'm going over to Extreme right after this to encourage them to continue to grow and employ more folks that are right here. In the last 3 years, we, because it's a we, have now brought in more than 43,000 new Kentucky jobs that these young people can work in and raise their family working just that one job, because we've had the second and third best year of wages of new jobs we've announced in the history of Kentucky. And I think that's what our job is. You know, I believe my job isn't to move a state to the right or the left, but to move it forward for every single family. To focus on those questions that you worry about at night. Do I have a good job where I can provide security for my family? Are my kids getting a world-class education? Can I take my parents or my kids to a doctor when they're sick? And do I feel safe in the community I'm in? Those are all things I think every Kentuckian can work towards, and work towards for each and every one of us. Because with all these new jobs that are out there, everybody is going to have real opportunity. So today, we're here to make sure we're investing in you. I believe that this General Assembly and this executive branch in the last several budgets has put more dollars back into our local communities, where our local communities determine how it's spent than just about ever before. In many ways, it's that ideal idea that every community deserves their own Glendale, a site that Paul Patton secured, thinking we were going to get a Hyundai plant. Actually, if you ever drive to Destin, because half the state drives to Destin, right before you get off I-65, you see that Hyundai plant there in Alabama. It used to make me really mad. Now I'm pretty excited that we waited. By the way, Steve Beshear also struck out on trying to put something on that property as well. But you deserve it here in this county as well. And that's why dollars for infrastructure, for economic development sites, which are flowing in bipartisan agreements, are so important and so special that we don't rest on our laurels, but we continue to push forward. And pushing forward is a reason that I hope that we can get some additional investment in this session, if not next session. We desperately need to pay our educators and our public school educators more. We are 44th in the country. And if we are going to produce the best workforce in America, the workforce for the jobs of the future, we need to have the very best educators we can. This is a competition for talent. We want the very best in our classroom, and that requires a good wage. I think it's time for universal pre-K, for every single 4-year-old to get that opportunity to be kindergarten ready. And that's the fastest thing we can do to address our workforce and get people back, especially young parents, into the workforce. It'd save an average couple about $12,000 a year, and nobody would ever have to say, I thought I was poor, but I didn't know I wasn't poor enough because I don't qualify for Head Start. And it's becoming a competition in and among itself, because Cincinnati just announced that city was going to do universal pre-K. So just think, if you're living in northern Kentucky as a young parent, what that must mean right now. Again, I don't think these are red or blue investments. I just think they're good investments that can keep us moving forward. And I hope, if not this year, in the coming years, that we can make it happen. So today, we are here to start with education. And I believe that being an education-first governor, that there is nothing more important to invest in. And I believe that education in 2023 has to provide multiple paths for all of our young people. Some of those paths go to a 2 or a 4-year institution. Some of them go to a certificate and a trade. Some of it go directly to the workforce. But empowering our young people to determine their own path gives them more opportunity than ever before. And let me tell you, this building we're standing in right now is a jobs magnet. When we announced, Senator, the largest new jobs announcement in Breckinridge County, it was because of a facility just like this. When we have those opportunities, when new businesses are coming in and looking at where they want to locate, and they say, where is our workforce coming from? It's facilities and training that's done in a facility like we're sitting in right now that answer that question. So today, first thing we're excited to recognize is $10 million to Grayson County Public Schools to support career and technical education right here. Oh, come on up. Here, come on out. Have you ever held $10 million? There you go. We've got to let her come right. There we go. All right. Now let's see everybody's $10 million smiles. All right. Thank you all. Before I turn it over to Superintendent Robinson for a few remarks, this is a program where the legislative and the executive branch are investing in career and technical education like never before. $240+ million. And it was 2 budgets ago that a program that you had to apply for was put out. There was a great amount of money in it. And this facility and school system came up a ½ point short. We didn't think it was right that those that got money in the first round and those that didn't should be separated by a ½ point. So in our recommended budget, we wrote this project directly into it with no new application needed. And the House and the Senate jumped on board. Not only that, but provided additional funding above and beyond that for other facilities around Kentucky. It's a pretty incredible commitment right at the right time. So, Superintendent.
Hey, wow, I am so excited. I just want to say thank you, the governor's office and our representative and our senator and all the legislators make this happen. But off the record, Miss Heverin was a student when I was a principal at the high school. She got her first and only offer from me. She came in late on purpose so I could give her detention, I think, a warning or something. But anyway, we are super excited about this opportunity on behalf of our students, our staff here, and just our community. We have so much great opportunities for our kids. We have a lot of great stuff going on here. This $10 million is going to take us to the next level with the facilities and the equipment that we have here. So I've been really, really excited, and I know our board members are as well, about just the opportunity of what's going to happen. And as Governor Beshear mentioned there with the new technology plants coming in Glendale, our area, and our kids have got going to have some great skills. And if you ever get the chance to come out here and see some of our kids perform some of their skills, they're unbelievable. A lot of times today we hear that kids nowadays, and I say, yeah, they're awesome. And we have so many of those quality kids that can knock your socks off with a lot of different skills. So again, we want to thank the governor's office and our legislators for this $10 million.
Next up, we get to recognize and invest in your hardworking tourism officials. Today, we're presenting a little more than $25,000 to the City of Litchfield Tourism and Convention Commission. These dollars will support travel marketing and promotion. That's what gets people here to spend their dollars in your small business. But more importantly, that brings people to Kentucky that are now staying in Kentucky. With the excitement that we have going, we're going to have to grow our population in tourism. Not only is a $10 billion industry in Kentucky, it's how we're going to bring new people into our communities that are going to help invest in us, and together we'll move forward. So, could Executive Director Johnson please join us to accept this check and say a few words? Go right ahead. Let's get everybody.
Your best number.
Yeah. That's gonna happen. Oh, you're very welcome.
On behalf of Litchfield Tourism and the City of Litchfield, I would like to thank the Governor Beshear, our very loved local legislators, and the State Tourism Cabinet for realizing the importance of tourism in the state and for investing in the future. We're going to spend it wisely.
All right. We're also awarding more than $75,000 to the Grayson County Tourism Commission. So would Executive Director Tiffany Decker please join us to accept the award? Same spots? Okay. Want to say a few words?
Of course.
Great.
On behalf of the Grayson County Tourism Commission, we would like to thank the governor and our legislators and the Kentucky Tourism for this funding. We will be able to do things that has not been done before, so we are very grateful for this money. Thank you, everyone.
And I guess I start this part by saying finally, though it's hardly finally, because we have more than $392,000 for 11 local nonprofits. These came from a nonprofit assistance fund appropriated by the legislature that is helping organizations across Kentucky because our nonprofits never stopped working during the pandemic. Even though it was more difficult to bring in those dollars, they had extra expenses, and this is an attempt to help them make sure that they have gotten back up, because what they do for this Commonwealth and for humanity is so important. Now, I'm driven by my faith, by that golden rule that I'm to treat my neighbor as myself, and the parable of the Good Samaritan says everyone is my neighbor. No ifs, ands, or buts, and that's exactly what these nonprofits are doing. We've provided funding for 6 local parishes, but their leaders aren't able to join us this morning because they're attending a funeral mass for Father Richard Powers. We're praying for them during this difficult time. We wanted to make sure we recognize what a big part of this they are and what a big part of this community. But we have representatives from 5 other incredible local nonprofits with us today, all of which are receiving funding. I'm happy to invite a few of them up who wanted to speak about the impact of these awards. So first, representing the Grayson County Alliance, please welcome Executive Director Debbie Childress. We'll get everybody up in a minute.
Well, I've got
It's
a
a
bunch
part
of
of
board
this.
members here.
Yeah, come on up.
Steve, Samaritan. They both volunteered for us.
Oh, really? Yeah. All right.
Of course, we want to say thank you this morning for the opportunities, but I want to just remind everybody, nonprofits in Kentucky are making a huge impact. And at the Grayson County Alliance, each day we encounter families who a bunch of dominoes have fallen down in their lives, and they're struggling. And so we walk beside them and we bend down and we help them pick up that domino of food insecurity, that domino of I lack education, or that domino of I need a referral. And anything we can do to feed our community, to teach life skills and empower family stability, that's why the Alliance has been serving this community for going on our 23rd year. We are thankful to be a part of this community, and so many faces in here volunteer, work alongside us, partner with us on projects, and help us further the mission of what we can do to make Grayson County stronger. So thank you.
Next, we have from the Grayson County Ministerial Association, please welcome Secretary Tracy Dennison. Oh, and we have Mr. President, yes. You all ready? All right. I don't want anyone to say a word or two.
Chelsea's not much of a speaker, as y'all know. I've been part of the Ministerial Association for probably going on 20 years. A lot of you all may not know this, but the Ministerial Association has been active in Grayson County since the 1960s. And the program that we're probably most known for is our financial assistance. And our financial assistance program is a needs-based program, not an income-based program. And the difference in that is, it's not because you have zero income that you get help, but it's because you're out there working every day, you're struggling, and you're trying, and something has happened to cause you not to be able to pay your bills. So we work with families, we do one-on-one budgeting, we always try to make sure that we're not setting them up for failure in future months. So I think that makes us kind of stand outside of the norm. Nothing against government programs. I know we have to have them. I worked for the government for years, but I love the fact that we're helping people who are helping themselves. So that's our main goal.
Can't take the whole thing.
Want it all!
The next is a special group that's operating all over Kentucky. You see the red kettles, especially around Christmas time, and you hear the bells. And we promoted this group the last couple of years, but this year we volunteered to do it personally, and we had a little competition. So Brittany, my wife, and I, the First Lady, went to the same Kroger on the same day and set up the kettles a little bit apart from each other, and we both rang the bells to see who would get the most donations. But she brought the dog, and I lost. So please welcome the Salvation Army of Grayson County and Captain Jimmy Parrish.
I'd like to say a few words. We're big fans.
Well, thank you, Governor, General Assembly, for what you do for the Salvation Army. We are there to really break the barrier for our neighbors in need. The governor talked about everyone's our neighbor, and that's true. Everyone is our neighbor. But it takes special people to be able to come along beside them through a pandemic to help break those barriers that are needed. He talks about the Red Kettle program, and what a wonderful program in which we're able to raise funds to help people in need. And the money given today to Grayson County will do that as well, to help people break those barriers of poverty that we're trying to do every day, to give them a better day, to wake up tomorrow and know that tomorrow is going to be a better day than it was before. So thank you again to the state of Kentucky for what you do, and we will continue to do the most good in every community and every place all over the world. Thank you.
Next, from Friends of Rough River Lake, please welcome President Charlie Corbett. Here we go. Bring everybody in as they come up, if you'd like. Oh, come on. You may need to step up front. You got it.
I can get behind her.
There you go. Good. All right. Say a few words about it.
What you do.
This year, we're celebrating our 15th anniversary of Friends of Rough River. And so far, in these past 15 years, we have donated or built roughly $500,000 in infrastructure and events at the Rough River State Park and Rough River Lake. So this funding will go toward our scholarship fund this year, where we give scholarships to one student from Grayson County, one from Breckenridge County. That's where this money will go this year. Our thanks to the General Assembly, the Governor's Office, and we couldn't do it without you. And whenever I've asked for something, they've never turned us down. We've always had good years, and our donors and our volunteers have always been very consistent and dedicated to what they do. And this check will help us continue what we do for Rough River Lake. Thank you very much.
also want to thank the team from Tri-County Court-Appointed Special Advocates for the incredible work that they do representing our kids and the legal system. Come on up.
Sure. I'm Lori Aldridge, Director of Tri-County CASA. We serve Grayson, Breckenridge, and Meade County. We originally started in Grayson County and quickly expanded to the other counties to include or to encompass the 46th Judicial District. So I want to thank Governor Beshear and the General Assembly for continuing to support our mission to protect the children in our communities. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I want to congratulate all of today's winners. You all are doing incredible work, and there's something pretty incredible about looking around and seeing so many different groups doing what I believe is God's work, trying to lift up our neighbors and our fellow human beings. Again, none of this would have been possible today without the work of our General Assembly as well. So I'd like to turn it over to Senator Meredith, followed by Representative Hebner.
Like I too want to appreciate everybody being here today. This is a great celebration for Grayson County and our citizens, truly. And this is my third budget cycle, and I think probably this is the most successful one that we have ever had. And we're pleased to have former House Speaker Rocky Atkins here. I'm not aware he can attest to it or not, but I think truly our state may be in the best financial position we have ever been in terms of being financially solid. So we have a lot of challenges ahead of us during this budget cycle. We just have a pension problem we have to deal with, but we have momentum. We truly do. I think probably for the first time in the history of our state, there's a job for everyone who wants one. But we have to educate our young people, you folks, and other citizens. You know, we have a lot of people that are not in the workforce right now that don't have the necessary skills. We'll focus on those as well. I don't have a crystal ball, but I think our 2024 budget cycle, which is our 2-year budget cycle, that we will focus on education and workforce development. We have to move our state forward. In very exciting times for Kentucky. So again, I want to take a moment to congratulate each of our award recipients today. Truly a great time for Grayson County and my 5th district.
Teachers, just as a reminder, we will start in the library.
Thank you all for coming today. We greatly appreciate it. And special thanks to Governor Beshear and Rocky Atkins, both friends. I greatly appreciate them coming to Grayson County to see the goodness that we have here in the 18th district. I just want to say, like, in honor of personal privilege right now, as a student here 13 years ago, 14 years ago, it's truly a great honor to be able to bring a $10 million investment to these hallways and see my friends like Kelsey Johnston and Brittany Gary raising up the next group of CTE students, and Matt Hayes. He was a teacher here, a chemistry teacher when I was here. I didn't take his class, not very good at science. I was a marketing student. But just what an honor to be able to see. A lot of times in government, we don't get to see the goodness that happens. And so today is an example of getting to see us give money back to nonprofits and to also to the tourism, but most importantly, the CTE students. Truly, that is the way that students from Grayson County are going to be able to change their life dramatically. And college isn't for everybody. College is for some people, and it's great. But if you can get a skill set right here in your hometown, you're going to change the trajectory for your life. And when we took that vote and made sure that money got in here for that, that's exactly why I did it. For the people here in the back, some I got to meet on Saturday as they prepared for DECA for their competition coming up for state. So make sure to wish them the best of luck before you leave. But truly, yeah. We've got a great program here, and so it's so important that we talk about that and the workforce that they're creating. So thank you all for what you do. It really is a true honor and privilege to be able to see something like this come to our community. And thank you for what you all do for the nonprofits. Without you all, I don't know what our county would look like, but I know each of you all play a really big part in that. I know tonight we've got the soup dinner, empty bowls. Make sure to come out to that from 4 to 7 at St. Joseph Parish to support our food pantry. And if you've never volunteered at the food pantry, I would encourage you to do that. Not that I'm picking favorites here, we're all special. But that is one near and dear to my heart because hunger is a big issue all over the Commonwealth of Kentucky and here in Grayson County. So thank you all for the privilege of letting me speak. Congratulations, and thank you for all that you do for our community.
We're out of checks. Thanks for having us here today. What a special way to celebrate investments in the community, being in the facility that's going to see this $10 million investment. And what a great group to do it with. The students that are going to feel the impact, that are actually going to see the economy that we are building right now, and that excitement, that morning of joy that I believe is coming. Thank you all for everything you do in your community. When we're in a room of educators and nonprofits, tourism officials and the rest, these people who love Kentucky, love their community, and have worked really hard to make it what it is. And I think we've got more potential moving forward to be everything we've ever dreamed of right now. So we got to make it happen. Thank you all very much.
Oh, he's back in the back.
Okay.